Thank you very much for your coming back. So this is the second section for the course Human Resource Audit, prepared by Guerrilla International Seminary. The second chapter of this course is about Human Resource Development Audit. Human Resource Development Audit. How we can develop human resource in our organization. Human resource development is defined as a systematic and planned activities designed by organization to provide its members with opportunities to learn necessary skills. The most important point is this point. It is giving, human resource development is giving your members opportunities to learn necessary skills to meet the current and the future job demands. Why we develop our organizational members? It is to let them best fit our current situation and to prepare these people for the what? For tomorrow's action. It is said that an organization is only as good as its what? Its people. This is common sense. Your organization is as good as your what? Your people. Therefore, in order to make your people best fit the need and the interest of your organization, you are expected to create opportunity for the development of human being in your organization. Three things are here in human resource development components. One is organizational administration of human resource. Second point is information management through documentation. Third point is computerized human resource information system. Organization and administration of human resource system. This consists of the way in which organization's human resource system is how organized. Is there a kind of standard operating procedure of making the human resource staff up to date with the human resource field? Employee communication practices and practices of appointing authorities in the department. This is about organization and administration human resource. Second point is information management through documentation. When you make a kind of organizational development, human resource development, second point is deals with managing information in the business unit through documentation, various records of employees, related factors. You need to have all information about the what? Your workers. Because information is a power. If you know your people, you can just put your trust on those people. Okay? Therefore, knowing people in your organization is very important thing. The third point is computerized human resource information system. That means this world is a world of digitalization. You are not expected to buy different kinds of papers and so on and so forth in order to just to collect the history of your workers in a given shelf. Now you have to make what? It has to be digitalized. Information should be digitalized. So digitalizing human resource information system based on system requirement, features, and capabilities. What are some of the system requirement? What are some of the features? And the third point is capabilities. With this page 15 to 16, major human resource development strategies are there. Guerrilla International Seminary prepared very good module here. So you have to read this part because you are PhD scholar. Okay? Some parts must be covered by you. Page 15 to 16. What are some of the functions and the subsystems of human resource development system? Human resource development system. It is often said that an organization is only as good as its people, we said earlier. Organizations of all types and size have at least one thing in common. Whether it is very simple organization or whether it is complex organization, in terms of the size and in terms of the complexity. But all organizations have one thing in common. They must employ commitment and motivated workers. Okay? Commitment by itself is not adequate in your organization. But they have to be what? Motivated people. A skill by itself is not adequate. But those people should be what? Dedicated. They have to develop a sense of ownership about your organization. So, HRD, Human Resource Development, is a process for developing and unleashing human expertise through training and development and organizational development for the purpose of improving performance. So that learning is, be careful, in human resource development, learning is core of human resource development. What is the core of human resource development? Learning. Learning mind, learning interest, learning appreciation, learning motive is very important thing. So human resource development has 5 major systems. One is career system. Ensures attraction and retention of human resources. If there is human resource development, if there people have an opportunity to develop their what? Their capacity, even more than money. If they get this kind of opportunity, there is a possibility of attracting people and retain most important people in your organization. Second point is work system. That means balanced human resource utilization. Not over, not underutilization. Human resource development to achieve organizational goals. Second point is development system. Business environment is ever changing. Our world is ever changing. The only constant thing in this world is change itself. There is always change at the individual level, at the country level, at the group level, at the country level, at the national level, at the continental level, even at the individual level. There is always change. The only thing is constant thing in this world is change itself. Therefore, we are living in this changing environment. So, human resource within the organization have to what? Change accordingly. Okay? You are living where? In a changing world. So you have to make a kind of what? Change in your organization. In terms of the skill, in terms of the capacity, in terms of the interest, in terms of the motive, you have to make a kind of what? Change in the organization. The third point is, fourth point is self-renewal system. Not only individual to renew in the organization, but there is a need to renew the organization itself. Mission of the organization, goal of the organization, value of the organization. Okay? Must be changed in line with the what? In line with the changing environment. Your organization need before 20 years is totally different from current need of the organization. So you have to just reshape yourself. The organization must what? Must renew. It has to update itself. The other point is culture system. Culture means a kind of common understanding, common philosophy, common view, common belief, common opinion, common philosophy. This is culture. So to build up a desired culture, what kind of culture? Desired culture, not undesired culture. Desired culture is very important to today's changing world business scenario. It is the culture that will give a sense of direction. Okay? Your culture gives a sense of what? Direction. What does it mean by culture? I say common understanding. It's not individual understanding. Common understanding, common philosophy, common view, common idea, common belief. This will direct your direction. It also give purpose. It also give togetherness, and it also give a kind of team spirit and teamwork. Therefore, human resource auditing must perform two basic functions. One is facilitating the development of managing process. Secondly, controlling and evaluating the policies and establishes the processes. The first one is what? Facilitating and developing what? Managing process. Second, that managing process must be controlled and monitored. Unit 3 is about conceptual understanding of human resource development. An audit is a means by which an organization can measure whether it currently stands and determine what it has to accomplish to improve its human resource function. An audit is simple thing. It's very thing. It's means of measuring what you are actually doing on the ground. Audit is this point. It's not about the past. It's not about the future. Human resource audit is just measuring current status of the what? Performance of the workers. It's a means of getting this information. So human resource audit refers to the measurement of activities, human resource management missions, objectives, strategies, policies, procedures, programs, activities. Audit means this. It is determination of what should and should not be done in the future. It tells you, audit tells you the do's and the what? And the do nots in the future. So human resource audit is investigation in terms of its size, in terms of its skill, in terms of its structure, and other resources. In terms of the skill, do I have the right kind of skill? In terms of the size, do I have the right number of people? In terms of the structure, is this structure really profitable or not? So doing this one. So audit can serve any of the following purposes. Audit, your audit. I'm not talking about financial audit or material audit or time audit. Human audit in your organization will meet this either of these purposes. One is to clarify desired practices of human resource work. What are the desired practices of human resource work? What are roles within that organization? It tells this idea. Second, to establish baseline for future improvement. When you plan for your future, you have to know your current position. The third point is to evaluate current effectiveness. Are you effective or not? You'll check with audit. The other point is to standardize practices. Does what you are doing really in line with the goal of the organization or not? You will get answer by doing human resource audit. To assess current knowledge and skill required for, are the knowledge and the skill currently at hand, are they important for you? Is there stress condition or underutilization or overutilization? Audit is one thing. Final point is to improve performance level of key customers. What is the need of my customer? Am I really satisfying the need and the interest of this customer? Is one point. Again, from page 20 to 24 is your assignment. Simply you can write page only, 20 to 24. Under these, 3 things are here. Human resource audit goals, approach to human resource audit, benefits of human resource audit. You have to read. Maybe some of the exam could be from this point. So this part must be part which are not discussed in this classroom should be covered by you all. Human resource audit methodology and issues. Human resource methodology and issues. Human resource audit is like annual health checkup. Do you have this kind of practice in your life? If you are not sick, do you go to hospital? You don't. But this is not the right way. You see? Moving here and this does not mean always being healthy person. So at least once. Of course, this is not also my weakness. It's my weakness too. Okay? But audit is like this. Organizational audit means like annual health checkup. Okay? Annual health checkup. Because you are a precious resource. We human beings are most and crucial resource in any organization, but we don't care about ourselves. Okay? Therefore, it plays a vital role in instilling a sense of confidence. When you have adequate information about the existing reality, you will develop what? A kind of confidence. It's important in the human resource functions organization. The basic reason for why organizations prefer to conduct human resource audit is, one is to get clear picture about the overall status of the organization. Why audit is important? To get clear picture about your organization. In terms of strengths, in terms of weakness, in terms of opportunities, in terms of threats. Okay? You will have clear information about your organization if you have appropriate kind of audit. Second point, to find out whether certain systems put in place are yielding in positive results or not. You may have different kind of structure. Are all these structures really productive or unproductive? One thing is to get clear picture. Second point is to check whether all segments of your organization are productive or not. You would check that. In order to get this information, you can use these all things: interview, observation, group discussion, workshops, questionnaires, analysis of report and documentation, analysis of secondary data, human resource audit report. These are sources of information you can collect about your what? Your organizational members. Yeah? Important points while conducting a human resource audit. When you conduct human resource audit in your organization, make sure that you are doing these 3 things. One thing, preliminary steps. Okay? These preliminary steps are when to conduct the audit, who should conduct the audit, have expertise in conducting audit. Do you have expert? Okay. Do you have adequate information to conduct a kind of audit in your organization? Do you have appropriate checklist to check whether your people are the right people or not in your organization? Do you have a checklist to measure their productivity and the quality of service rendering by your members? This is one thing. Second point is goals of audit. Is it for transfer transfer? Is it for downsizing? Is it for promotion? Is it for penalty? Is it for reward? What's the goal of human resource audit? You have to know this. The third point is areas of audit. Areas of audit. What are some of the areas of audit? Which area are you going to measure? Personality, professional skill, his communication skill, his knowledge about the work he is doing, his capacity to satisfy the customer, his capacity to just handling things in his office. What are the areas? You have to know these things. Again, reading assignment is goal of audit and areas of audit must be clearly known. These three things, read your module more. What are some of the issues in human resource audit? Three things are important in human resource audit. One is comprehensive. The second one is programmatic. The third one is restricted. When you audit, one is comprehensive, means the overall performance of the person. That means focusing on interaction between the organization and the department. When you audit the human person, the human being. Second, programmatic. This focusing on specific human resource practices area, such as recruitment, selection, compensation management, job designing, and training. Focused area, programmatic. The third point is restricted. This focuses on single issues, like what? Absenteeism and turnover. The first one is about the relationship between the individual and the organization. Second one is program level. Third one is issue level, specific issue. How is Mr. X in terms of absenteeism? How is Mr. X in terms of the turnover? How is Mr. X in terms of the time management? How is Mr. X in terms of the communication with people, with organization? These are some of the points. In terms of the steps, these are the steps expected to be done. The first one is plan the audit. The first one is audit subject matter selection. Which area are you going to make a kind of subject area? Second one is plan the audit. Which area are you going to cover in your auditing? Third point is conduct the audit, implement the auditing practices, measure the actual practices on the ground against against your plan. Another point is report sending or report finding. What is the finding of your what? Your audit. And this could be sent to the concerned individual. That is what we call it, a feedback. So this is a kind of what? Circulation of the vicious circle of steps for conducting human audit. Process or steps of human resource planning. One is analysis of organizational plan. Human resource planning. Analysis of organizational plan. What is your plan? You have to know the plan itself in terms of the vision, in terms of the goal, in terms of the mission, in terms of the achievement and so on and so forth. This looking the future plans of the organization. What project it wants to pursue in the future. Looking at plan is always future oriented. So you have to see the future. Second, forecast demand for human resource. That means based on the previous step, which is step? Analysis of the organizational plan. Estimated human resource required. We look to sources of their supply. You estimated demand of the people. Do you have some people in that area in order to get or in order to recruit those people from that organization? That is one thing. The third point is forecast human resource supply. Human resource supply. This is based on the estimated human resource required. We look to sources of the supply. Do you have the right source? If you want to get a kind of information about the quality of education, you are not expected to get information to a bus station. Where is the source in order to get the quality of the education? Okay. If you want to get information about the healthcare in our country, you are not expected to go to primary school in order to get information from that. Therefore, the right source must be what? Selected in order to get the right information. The other point is estimating manpower gaps. Is there a kind of gap? Okay. What are activities expected to be done? How many people do you have? Is there a gap between activities to be done and what people you have? If yes, you have to think to fill that gap. Other point is action plan. In order to do what? These 5 points, the above mentioned 4 points, you have to make a kind of action plan. Once the manpower gaps are estimated, then action to be taken for bridging those gaps are planned. You have to just do a kind of plan in order to what? To bridge those gaps. The last point is about monitoring and controlling required through the whole process. Monitor each case. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. You have to monitor and you have to what? You have to control this case. Human resource audit structure is another point. Human resource audit structure. How human resource audit structure looks like. The unexamined work life is not worth living. Have you got me? The unexamined work life, unmeasured work life, unevaluated work life, uninvestigated work life is not worth living, because that life do not know the strengths and the weakness of that life. Examining something means knowing the strengths and weakness of what? That thing. Therefore, practices of successful organizations to ensure profits through human resource. Therefore, employment security is one point. Selective hiring and new personnel is another issue. Self-managed teams and the decentralization of decision making as a basic principle of organization design is another issue. The fourth issue is comparatively high complementation, contingent on organizational performance. Another point is extensive training. How extensive is extensive? It is not absolute, but it is a relative term. If people are intelligent, if the people are educated people, if people are experienced people, level of training will be what? Lesser. So, the type of training depends on the what? Workforce that you have in the organization. So, reduced status distinctions and barriers, including dressing, language, office, arrangement, weight difference, are across the levels. These are also some points that you are expected to think in the structure of human resource audit. extensive sharing of financial and performance information throughout the what? The organization. Resources must be what? Shared. Should not be centralized and monitored by a single individual by using a kind of stick. Okay? So this structure of human resource audit are, one is recruiting, we have said a lot. Staffing is another point. Employee orientation in the program is another point. Employee and supervisory training is another point. Benefit administration is another point. Recruitment is the process of attracting, screening, and selecting qualified people for a job at an organization. What do you mean by this recruitment? We have already said this point. Okay? Job analysis is knowing the type of what? The job. Sourcing is getting the right area. Screening is selecting that individual. And onboarding is making that individual familiar with what? With your organization. Orienting, proper orientation about the work culture, about the your expectation, and even it's better if you get the expectation of him from your organization. Okay? In some interviews, there is one question. What do you expect to contribute for my organization? There is this kind of interview. What special skill do you have to contribute for my organization? These are some of the questions. Therefore, you have to know what? Onboarding is making brief understanding about what? Your organization. So job analysis, sourcing, employee selection, and onboarding are already discussed. Second point is employment advertising. You see, capturing the attention of public. Advertising is advertising done by Sarait Fikri and the other people is told Mulalam is what? Totally different from the advertising done by what? By other people. They have a power to get the what? The target group from their voice, the picture, the speech, the physical and the mental appearance that they bring to the audience. You see? Therefore, this one is applying employment advertising principle of AID. AIDA. A means attention or catch the attention of the what? Target audience. Interest means hold the interest until the whole message is read. It should not be a kind of single shoot. Do it again and again. For example, the notice which is currently done by EBS, not EBS, I think Kana Television, about Galila International Seminary is what these people are doing. In order to get the target audience, okay? Repeatedly, they are incurring huge amount of money. Why? To address the idea of many people, the ears of the many people. That's the way. That is interest. The other point is desire. Arouse desire for opportunity over. The other point is action. Stimulate action in the form of what? Applications. Third point is employee referral programs. That means try to get information about previous history of an individual. This will reduce your what? Your orientation. If someone is well experienced person, there is a possibility to make that individual more listen to the orientation purpose. Cost effectiveness, high quality candidates, improved morale and speed of hire. Okay? Cost effectiveness, high quality candidate, improved morale, and what? Speed of hire. Another point is applicant screening, checking psychological, mental, behavioral faculties of the what? Of the applicants. The other point is in recruitment is testing. This could be a mental and the physical appearance of an individual. Again, page 34 to 36 is your reading assignment. Page 34 to 36 is reading assignment. Stress testing. Some people are stressed, more stressed. How do you check this? This deals with quality of applicant in the environment. Stress testing evaluates applicant ability to work efficiently in an atmosphere in which he or she is in a test. Things are not always smooth in your organization. There are some conditions which are more discomfortable for you. So do you have this kind of people, capable people, in order to accomplish their work in a discomfortable environment? So you have to test this one by just raising different kind of questions. The second structure of human resource audit is about staffing. Staffing. The ideal staffing level for organization depends on two things. One is amount of work to be done and skills required for what? For doing it. Staffing it is amount of work to be done and skills required to do it. If the number and the quality of staff member are employed are greater than the necessary for the workforce, an organization may be deemed to be overstated. If the number of staff is insufficient, so people could be what? Could be stressed or understaffed. Effective human resource planning will determine the appropriate staffing level for organization at any given point. When there is a kind of time dimension, the number of people in your organization could increase or could what? Decrease. If there is expansion of organization, there is what? Employment increment. If there is contraction of your organization, there is downsizing of the workers. So time dimension is by itself a factor in order to have appropriate people or not. Page 37 to 38 is also again another idea. The third point is audit structure. Audit structure. Employee orientation training program. Orientation is one thing. Employee orientation training program helps to speed up and learn ground rules. What are ground rules of your organization? Ground rules of different organizations is different. Therefore, orientation is very important in order to what? To make a kind of what? Standard in your organization. So, it reduces startup time. When, if there is adequate information, startup time. Training is very important, and other indirect courses could be what? Could be reduced. Page 40 is also one kind of reading material. The fourth one is about audit structure employed by supervisory. This is human beings are continuous what? Learner. Finished. You have to just understand this one. We are living in a what? In a challenging environment. So in order to cope up with the problems due to the time dimension, you have to make a kind of what? Learning. Next time, next session, the third section will be about basics of human resource law. Training, I'll come back after a session. Just a minute. Thank you.